Hello and welcome to Uncapped, where we lift the lid on natural and low-tox lifestyles with essential oils. I'm Jess Raitt, and today's conversation is going to go down as one of the most enlightening and informative chats I've had to date. I'm joined by the illustrious Jackie AUNZ, Blue Diamond leader and clinical holistic nurse, whose mission is to empower people to live well through informed choices. Jackie's vibrant nature is hard to resist. Just ask her about her skinny skirt story. But it's her incredible wealth of knowledge that has empowered families for over 10 years to support well care, allowing people to feel the right to make healthier choices inspired by nature. Jackie brings energy, compassion, and an effervescence for learning, which will no doubt impact you like she does me. Welcome to Uncapped, the fabulous Jackie AUNZ. Welcome, Jackie.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm great. I am absolutely fantastic.
Great.
Had 24 hours in Melbourne by myself as a mum. You know how powerful that is.
Oh, yeah.
And I am empowered and buzzing on Grapefruit this morning. And I know you are too.
I am. And look, I wanted to say welcome to my living room because I have waited for this moment for so long. When you meet someone that's got the same kind of energy, the same kind of pizzazz as you just want to have them on the couch, spill the tea, so to speak, and have a bit of a chin wag. So I'm thrilled we get the opportunity to have this conversation today.
I love it. I love it. New friend. And the way I get to know my friends is a cup of tea on the couch. So many of my girlfriends and I, we have nights out planned, we have things to do, and then we make a cup of tea. And then it's like, do you know what? I'm comfy here. Let's just solve the world.
Beautiful.
So let's do it.
Let's get comfy.
Okay.
Let's solve the world. Let's talk about one of our favourite things today, which is grapefruit essential oil. But before we get all into the product, I want to know a little bit more about you.
Yeah.
You have got an energy, a zest for life that is really quite beautiful to watch. I want to know how this all started for you.
Thank you for that. How did this all start? So dōTERRA started with sleep. Okay, always had the energy, always energize a bunny. I've had flatmates move out on me because of, hey, how are you at 5:30 in the morning when they're walking to the loo. Like I am that girl that from the moment I start to the moment I finish, I just bring it to the table. And that was great, but getting to sleep was an issue. It's always been an issue for me. And then waking up kind of not fully energized became an issue for one of my children. So we looked at these oils because nothing else was working. I studied natural therapies, I studied aromatherapy, but for me, the science didn't match up to the oils or the quality of the oils that I was using and what they actually did. Like there was just such a disconnect. And then my girlfriend Jessie started talking about dōTERRA, and I was like, wow, okay. She's a research bunny like me. There must be something here. So no stone went unturned. I researched dōTERRA and it was like, okay, this is something different and it feels right. So smell unseen, sight unseen. That kid arrived from America and literally within 48 hours, we were sleeping really well, but we were waking up energized. We were waking up restoratively and feeling refreshed. And that was so powerful. So clinical nurse at health retreats, I saw the simplicity of this product. I thought, do you know what? Sleeping in the first couple of days of the retreat program was what people did not do. They didn't sleep. So I took my oils in and then I saw them clinically work against acute first aid issues, but also against detoxification issues. And I was sold what they cut through on the physiology and on the emotional side to really help our guests fast track into their own homeostasis, their groundedness, so they could really embrace the rest of the program was remarkable.
Wow.
The accountants loved me because the free spend on naturopathic products to help people fast track was lessened because what one drop of dōTERRA can do against quite a few other supplements is just remarkable. So I knew that there was something really special here. So I had to share it with, I couldn't not share it with people. Like it just blew my mind, absolutely blew my mind, the power. So I just went home with my little bottles and whoever came to our home, or I dealt in the hilarious, who are they? You know, the headmasters of the school would just laugh at me. It was like, "Are you dealing today, Jack?" And I'd be taking my oils to school and just sharing it with families. We needed kids calm in carts, not melting down. And I knew balance could do that. I knew that emotional range, the mood management range. We didn't have the emotional aromatherapy range at that time, but what lavender peace could do, what balance could do, citrus bliss, elevation was just so perfect for that after school care. And that's kind of how dōTERRA happened for me.
Gosh, such an incredible story, because I've had a few people sit on the couch now with me. They've come to my living room and we've had a bit of a chin wag, but you're the first person to sit on the couch who comes from a more toolkit perspective, a medicinal toolkit, or more of a supportive physically toolkit, versus the guests that were looking at it from more of a DIY perspective or a more emotive perspective. So I'm really interested to learn your take on, having been a clinical nurse, having worked in those more holistic style retreats, how people translate that information after they walk out of those doors, after they've spent a week detoxing, not drinking any coffee, living their best lives, their healthiest lives. How does that then translate into everyday life?
It's tricky. It is tricky because those retreats are designed for the moment, and there wasn't the aftercare. And aftercare was clunky when they came back wanting those supplements filled up and so forth, finding the time to organise consults, finding time to get the right scripts. And remember, when you sit down, it's just for you. It's not for your entire family. So you leave a retreat with that awareness that things need to change, but need to change for everyone. And that can become a really expensive journey, trying to negotiate who has the philosophy in the real world. And that's where I saw dōTERRA as being that aftercare product, because it just multitasks so well. So we can crack open that bottle of grapefruit. It's going to have a different experience and a different response to us than it is for our children, for example. And that is so powerful, and it's time effective. And when we go back from a retreat program, the thing that always hits us first is the time management, the speed of our lives. And dōTERRA allows us that health retreat living in the city, as I call it, with ease across multiple family members and economically. And let's face it, with the cost of healthcare and the cost of preventative care and the fact that it takes up to 3 weeks in Queensland to be able to see your GP if you're feeling unwell, and 70% of issues that we currently see our GPs for are environmental or stress related. Having something at home that is consistent, of highest clinical quality, that you can just crack open and manage supportively until you are able to see a healthcare professional is incredibly valuable, particularly in this post-pandemic world.
Absolutely. Nail on the head. Gosh, I could listen to you for hours and hours talk about this.
It's my passion.
You epitomise the wellness pyramid of sorts. I feel like that could be, on your inspiration board at home, where you're so passionate about the proactive side of health, that we don't necessarily need to consistently, if there's a scratch on your skin or you've bumped your elbow, you don't need to go to the GP straight away, that you've got that empowerment piece, that we can be proactive with the physical ailments, with the emotive ailments, and know that we've got the toolkit of sorts in our own homes.
And to be a mum, to be able to, or even just a woman, to be that empowered that I know that I can just take the load off the healthcare system by doing something simply myself, feels really good. It feels responsible.
Yes.
And I could talk about this for like 6 hours. We could run a workshop.
I could listen to you for hours. Let's do that course together. That would be incredible.
Oh, please.
I'll be the one at the front row with a notepad and pen, just wanting to learn everything off you. So I want to know more about your ideas, your passion for this one particular essential oil, grapefruit, which we're here to talk about today.
We are.
Grapefruit, I love for so many reasons, and I thought I'd put together a little tea concoction for you. So in this today, we've got grapefruit, we've got a bit of cinnamon bark, and we've got some vanilla absolute just to sweeten it and round it out a bit. What do you think?
I love it.
Yeah?
It works. Like, it balances beautifully. And goodness me, the combination of those oils speaks to change of season. well and truly, speaks for a beautiful mood and uplift and happiness, and having the ability to have oils internally and for its interaction with gut-brain axis and helping with mood management, but also helping with calm, excitable stress response is really appropriate.
Perfect timing. The weather's just starting to turn.
It is.
The sun's slightly switched off in Melbourne town. So sorry we haven't brought you the sunshine that we did have a few days ago.
Yesterday was perfect.
Wasn't it?
Just like it was hotter than Brisbane.
Just with a little bit less humidity, which does my hair a favour.
Oh my goodness. And my hair today was just like, it's not responding the way it normally did. And there's no humidity. But I must admit, yesterday morning, we now have autumn in Queensland. And so many of my friends and family are just feeling that change of season, change with their health and well-being at the moment. So this tea is perfect.
Awesome.
And it's great. I mean, sweetness, sweet conversation, girlfriends on the couch. Perfect. You did it well, Jess.
Well, thank you so much. I felt like a bit of a scientist of sorts, trying to concoct a little combination and see what worked, and then trying to think back, what do these oils actually do and how they can support us internally. And I think that's the beauty of something like grapefruit, right? That when there's different benefits, whether it's a topical application, whether it's an internal, even just inhalation, just smelling the essential oil. What do you love most about grapefruit?
Oh gosh, where do I start? I think the most profound effect that I've had with grapefruit personally is my skinny skirt story. So
yes.
dōTERRA land, we've just launched Diamond Club. So I did Diamond Club crazily in 2017. And in February, free oil was grapefruit. I ran 7 classes. So I ran literally a class a day plus a couple of one-on-ones. So I think it was like 10 classes a week throughout February. We double ranked. So it was crazy. We had to fly and do out of area. So I was in Melbourne. I think I flew to Melbourne 3 times in February, plus North Queensland and wherever else I went. And we would feature grapefruit. So I love grapefruit as a sweet soda replacement. So just some mineral water, a couple of drops of grapefruit. And if you do miss that sweetness, you can add a little bit of liquid stevia, or even better, the grow stevia in your garden. It's a beautiful green perennial herb. So sweet. And just pop a couple of mint leaves or stevia leaves in that sparkling water. So that's what we did as well. But also, so I was taking it internally and we were diffusing it. So I love it with Clary Calm, and I love it with patchouli actually as a hormonal balancing or cortisol balancing diffuser blend during a class. So I consumed a lot of grapefruit during that month, and it wasn't until it was a couple of weeks into March that I opened my top drawer, and in my top drawer for all of my life since my mid-20s, and I bought the skirt. I would, and look, it's tiny. Okay. I would try this on every morning. The first thing I did when I got out of bed, I would put my skinny skirt on, and my worth for the day and my happiness was rated around how tight or how loose that skirt was. And I was in 2017, I was 50. So I had no idea how body dysmorphic my beliefs were around myself, my worth and my image. And funny enough, I thought, this is wild. What's going on here? The only thing that is different. And I had no desire whatsoever to try that skirt on. So for 25 years, every morning that skirt went on. And then it wasn't even an afterthought in my day. It's like, oh, I just hadn't thought about it. And then I opened my emotions book and went to grapefruit, and it is the oil of honoring the body. So it allowed me to have body love, have self-worth, self-esteem, know that the person that I am is okay. And never again will I rate myself against a size or someone else's perception of me. But it wasn't someone else's perception of me. It was my own perception of myself. And then I really started to double down on how I lived Was it nourishingly or was it punishingly? And there was still not only the skinny skirt, but some of my other behaviors were really self-punishing. So I can say, what are we now? When was that? That was, maths not my forte at the moment. Many years ago now. Was it 5 years ago? 6 years ago. That I have really looked at how I can give myself self-love at all times. So if we stop and we pause, and every decision is led with, is this nourishing me, body, mind, and spirit, or is it punishing me? What we can reverse about ourselves. So even though I was a health retreat nurse and I was perceived to be incredibly healthy, there was some beliefs and behaviors that weren't. I can categorically say now this little oil has changed that for me, that I'm sitting here so whole and so in love and respect of myself and what my body, mind, and spirit can do. So that's my skinny skirt story. So that's number one. Number two is the diet industry had done this oil a disservice because it was, again, being of my age, I remember, was it Special K? There was like starvation starting morning with a bowl of Special K and some grapefruit, and that's literally all you ate for the day. But grapefruit, because it nourishes yourself in the oil sense, because it becomes cell specific, it becomes far more potent and powerful. It helps you with having that healthy relationship with metabolism. And that sometimes is looking at your food choices. So grapefruit is amazing for decreasing hunger cravings, but specifically for those foods that are processed. That really, if we're looking at leading a holistic life, it's more about whole. It's about less intervention. And grapefruit allows you to look in the mirror and make those choices around holism, around being proactive in your health and well-being, but in a loving way. It also does there's some incredible science around it with regards to helping us release some of the excess that isn't required in a healthy way. And if we have an epidemic of metabolic health, we know that through the pandemic years. So grapefruit allows us to release our attachments around some of those foods, the more processed foods that aren't as helpful to our well-being. And any of that excess that we are holding on to that is not healthy for us if we're moving into strength and longevity in our life.
Isn't that incredible? And I think that even for those who don't have that knowledge or expertise that you have with how grapefruit impacts someone's lifestyle, aka me. I know that just by smelling it, it smells so fresh. It smells uplifting. In my mind, it triggers me to want to do better.
Absolutely.
And maybe it is because I'm a child of the 80s. I'm sharing my age now. But I remember
your mum, Jess. That freaked me out the other day. We had a conversation about your mum and raiding wardrobes and so forth.
Absolutely.
Like, oh my God, I'm everyone. I'm dōTERRA grandma.
Well, we've all got a place to sit, right? And
Absolutely.
We all have an opportunity to share. But I remember, and to that point, I remember my mum. I remember my grandma, my aunties, all cutting open a whole grapefruit. Because that was the healthy thing to do. That was the fad brekkie of the era. They, of course, got a healthy scoop of sugar to sprinkle on top.
Of course.
to
got
sweeten,
that bit.
because we're being healthy. We've learnt a lot since then. And so fad diets, as you see these trends come and go. And I know that we spoke about this earlier this morning, that we've got, the gurus of every era that want to be able to spruik a holistic way of living, a better way of living, a healthier way of living. And yet when you dial it down, something as simple as a drop of citrus, a drop of grapefruit in your water in the morning, just to get things going.
Absolutely. Just uplifts straight away.
It can do so much. You think you're doing something better. And I spoke about this with Dr. Riggs a couple of months ago on the lifelong vitality training we did. And we talked about the role in creating these habits. Once you're in that mentality of I'm going to do good today. So say you start your day with grapefruit, drop in your warm water before you do anything else. What are you more likely to choose to eat for breakfast? what are you more likely going to do in a movement capacity before you have to wake the kids up, get them dressed, off you go to work?
Absolutely.
You're in that habit of creating better choices for yourself because you've started the day right. And it does create a bit of a habit stacking. So what do you think about grapefruit in that sense? And I know that you yourself have started a bit of a habit, a routine with grapefruit and maybe another product.
Oh, yes. So grapefruit is the major ingredient in Meta Power.
That buzzword that everyone's talking about.
Absolutely. So again, I'm having another loving relationship with grapefruit every morning. The amount of energy, vitality, me. I just feel like I'm me. Yeah. I just feel like I'm me again. After the last couple of years that have been challenging for everyone, I think we just had layers on top of us. And having grapefruit throughout the day in the Meta Power oil. Now, we all know that the Meta Power oil is the old Smart and Sassy, Slim and Sassy, that is just super amped with extra lemon and grapefruit. Particularly leading with the grapefruit there. It has just allowed me to just feel 30 again. I really do. And even my kids notice just the amount of kind of passion and vibrancy that I bring to their everyday, more so than I ever have before. So it's lovely. It is really, really special. So I'm looking forward to everyone being able to fall in love with the power of grapefruit and Meta Power moving forward. So but the standout thing for me feeling me again, it's got nothing to, it is the mood, the can do, the chill. I was always chill Jackie, and she was kind of lost there for a couple of years. And now I just literally, nothing phases me. Nothing phases me. I have a great capacity to hold things and hold space. And this this oil has just allowed me to feel even better in the role that I have to play here and being myself. So it was the mood stabilizer, and the happiness. Citrus is just happy. When you think citrus, it's happy. It's that happiness piece that I had no idea that this Meta Power range would bring to me. So that's the standout. So I really, really look forward to it happening for all of us. So grapefruit in your water every morning is a beautiful way to start the day. Gut health, mood. It's as simple as that. Yeah.
So like you said, it is as simple as that.
It is simple.
We need practical DIYs. If I'm a new customer and if I'm sitting next to you having a cup of tea, I've just met you at the cafe and you've said, Jess, you need some body confidence. You need some self-confidence again to go back to you. You know, I know as a mum of 2 young kids, I am just coming out of that wave of feeling me again.
Yeah, okay.
It's almost like that emotional detachment that the kids aren't physically relying on me. I'm not breastfeeding anymore. There's that physical element that is detached. And so there, as a woman, we do go through these life stages. This sounds like it would be the oil for me.
Oh, absolutely. Cook with it. Shower with it. Dry body brushing of a morning with some really self-love affirmations. Pop it in the diffuser going to school of a morning. It's going to uplift everyone, but give you that sense of empowerment. And I think you've got a young girl too, don't you?
I do.
So some of the body messaging that is happening so young. Like I remember, I think my daughter was 7, and the conversation that was happening at the school bag racks it just made me sad. So having that diffusing of a morning, it's beautiful with your citrus bliss. I love grapefruit with my elevation of a morning, and just with balance is beautiful as well. So it gives everyone that empowerment moving into their next cycle of the day. Cooking with oils is a really, really simple way to not only medicinally up level, but emotionally up level as well. So Asian, we're going for lunch Asian. Have you ever done grapefruit in an Asian salad dressing?
No, I haven't.
Amazing.
But I will now.
Absolutely amazing.
Right.
Ginger, so we're coming into the Easter period. A lot of people will only be eating seafood white meats. Ginger, grapefruit and scallops, just lightly pan fried. amazing with a little bit of chili, a little bit of fresh coriander is
Right.
sensational.
Incredible. So do you cook it in the pan with the scallops, or do you dress it, I guess, afterwards?
No. With the scallops, it's just pan fried
Yeah.
really, really quickly. And
Okay.
it just is so, because the scallops are so absorbent,
Yeah,
it just takes
exactly.
in the flavour. Yeah, but
Yum.
I love my Vietnamese with a pop of grapefruit. Incredible.
Wow.
And again, another really, really simple way to use these oils.
Mm.
How else would I? Oh gosh, cleaning products. It's funny, if I'm feeling low, I will just go and clean a bench top. Like seriously, grease cutting, mood management, and your house is clean. Mind blowing. That's how simple it is.
Yeah, grapefruit in my kitchen.
Oh,
I adore. When I go and do my market grocery shop now,
Yeah.
I fill up the sink with water. I do some vinegar as well, and then I do grapefruit.
Yeah,
because
beautiful.
it just cuts through.
It does cut.
And if that oily
Yeah.
residue that's left, some of that wax that sometimes you can find on, say, apples, for example, it really cuts through. I've added it into my soap now, so I get
Beautiful.
that uplifting.
Oh,
It's beautiful. The smell just hits you. And like you just said, I love cleaning now because I get hit with those beautiful aromatics that make me feel happy. My husband's thrilled. He thinks this is the best situation, me getting this job at dōTERRA, because I love cleaning now because it makes me feel happy.
Absolutely, absolutely. I make a foaming body wash instead of soap, so it's a little bit too much like the next step for me.
I'll give you the recipe afterwards.
Okay,
it's
thank
really
you. If
easy.
it's easy, yeah. But foaming hand wash and body wash is so simple for me.
Yeah.
And grapefruit, just uplifting of the morning.
Beautiful.
It really opens chests as well. It's not something you probably think of, but as you're scrubbing, either dry brushing or just washing normally with that body wash, just that inhalation of freshness really opens up your sinuses.
Yeah, right.
So it can be used that way as well in a medicinal sense.
From a skin therapist background, I'm always looking at how I can support my skin. And look, like
your skin is amazing, and your knowledge base on this. I could listen to you for hours on this, so I'm going to kick back now.
Exactly, enjoy. That's why we've got this living room set up, so we can just have this chin wag and share information, right? Because we all hold our own power, our own knowledge base of sorts. But I adore grapefruit because I've been trialling out this process of dry body brushing with a couple of drops of grapefruit, because we know dry body brushing is going to help to exfoliate the skin physically. It's going to take off any kind of dead skin cells sitting on the top, but help to promote that cell rejuvenation. So that we're going to have healthier cells, healthier skin coming up to the surface that are going to perform better. Grapefruit is fantastic for supporting that stimulation. So if you suffer from like keratosis pilaris on the back of your arms, the back of your legs, which are more renowned to getting, blocked ducts, blocked hair follicles. And and it's an area that you don't necessarily see on a day-to-day basis. But then when you put on your skinny skirt, or you put on a short sleeve top, which I rarely do nowadays, so I get caught off guard and I think, hang on, what's going on here? The grapefruit really helps to stimulate the skin. And so I've found that my skin has really softened as a result of that. You do have to be careful whenever you're popping a citrus oil onto your skin, because you're more likely to have, I guess, a reaction to UV. You can possibly get pigmentation, hyperpigmentation even, but it can also create that sensitivity or photosensitivity that we call it.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
Okay, I'm a Queensland girl. I'm an outdoors girl. So to use grapefruit in my body brushing routine, how and when would I do that? Because my office is a bay window, full sunlight from the morning till the afternoon. I'm at athletics, I'm at touch football, I'm at swimming, I am out and about, I walk every day. So
it's a practicality question, and it's really good. Because even though I live in Melbourne, and so we don't necessarily have any sunshine whatsoever. And yet
yesterday was good.
Apart from yesterday, of course, we put on a show for you.
I was disappointed.
Example.
I wanted rain and cold.
Pulled out your big coat just in case.
I wore it. I felt very hot, but I had to get off the plane in that coat.
You have to wear the full Melbourne outfit.
Exactly.
Of course, I get it. But UV rays are going to come through, whether
Yeah.
it's sunny or whether it's cloudy.
That's so true.
You can have high UV even in winter months. So I am a firm believer in protecting your skin. That is the number one skincare rule. Now, whether you use a physical sunscreen or you use a chemical sunscreen, the idea is to protect your skin from UV damage. It is just a pinball in a pinball machine. Those UV rays are going to oxidize your skin, and it's going to damage your skin. And you're going to have premature aging. You're going to be more likely to suffer from skin conditions and can lead to extremes like skin cancers and melanoma, which we know we're all prevalent in, being in Australia.
Absolutely.
So practically, are you going to use citrus in the mornings or are you going to use citrus at night?
Okay.
I would always say at night. That's your best bet. Using your body brushing or a body wash in your evening shower before you get into bed is a great alternative. If you are going to be consistently exposed to sunshine, maybe you swap out those citrus oils, because there's going to be around about a 12-hour exposure risk when you're topically applied it through to when you're probably sitting more on that safe end of the spectrum. So if you know you're having a big day out in the sunshine, the next day, plan ahead.
Okay.
But you raised a really, really good point. Are there some other oils in our doTERRA range that have grapefruit in it, for example, but may not be in the high levels consistency of a full bottle, for example?
We could swap those in for body brushing then.
Well, you really could, right? So what oils do you know that grapefruit is in that you could sub out?
I'd use Aroma Touch straight away. Straight away, my go-to. And I know it's one of your favourites as well.
Is.
But the doTERRA's blends, like that's another talk on the couch. Like how brilliant are those blends? So if we look at the oils in Aroma Touch, really specific for putting petrol in the tank, but particularly when we're at low, we're on empty, or we've dredged the tank.
Yeah.
So really specific for that mental fatigue, that hormonal mental fatigue, that extreme A-type personality that has just emptied itself. The oils in Aroma Touch really help replenish that soul energy, but also really great lymphatics in there.
Yes.
Yeah, and really quite specific for moving any stuckness, whether that's lymphatics. There is an incredible study with postmenopausal women utilising, I think it was grapefruit and citrus and 3 or 4 different oils. Didn't state what those other oils are, but if we look at Aroma Touch, we have our citrus, we have our grapefruit in there, that it was very specific for massaging into lower abdominal regions, where in postmenopausal women, we tend to carry, it's part of menopause. We tend to see our body changes somewhat. This massage blend can actually help release, which is incredible. The citrus bloom with grapefruit in it, it's citrus, it's limonene and linalool. And if we look at those, the chemistry of those oils, again, really, really specific for body love, for calming the stress response, for lowering like your pulse rate, your stress levels, can be very indicative of keeping you in a calm, centered space. And that also helps with healthy metabolism, healthy mood management, healthy self-esteem. And Arise as well has grapefruit in it. And that, if you look at the oils in there, there's Melissa in there as well in Arise. Again, a healthy central nervous system response. So again, we're balancing our cortisol levels, we're balancing the way that we react to stress. We have this far better, I suppose, foundational base to keep calm. And if we are calm and centered, we don't have those high peaks and those deep low troughs, our body is going to be in homeostasis and work more successfully in us being ourselves in our day.
And you mentioned that earlier about the gut-brain axis and how important it is that we do look at ourselves holistically. That's why this whole word, living holistically, has come out, because we need to consider all the elements of our wellness, of our well-care, to be able to operate at our best selves. And we know that grapefruit is going to give us that confidence, that body love that we need. But it's just so right, being able to consider what's happening internally, how we're feeling from a stress response level. If you're at that boiling kettle, bubbling, ready to blow your lid at every moment of the day, Are you being your best self?
You can't be.
Are you giving your work your best self? Are you
Yeah.
giving your family your best self? And that's why I think we get lost in this world of trying to do all the right things and be the best person we can be, but we forget, and it's cliche as it sounds, if we don't fill up our own cup, if we don't put on our oxygen mask first, how are we supposed to support those around us? How can we be our best selves? So I love what you've brought to the couch today. You've wrapped it up in a beautiful bow that if we live holistically and we consider ourselves from an emotional perspective, our physical are going to thank us for it. So thank you so much for your wisdom, your beauty, your knowledge. I could chat to you for hours and hours, and once the cameras turn off, I will. I'll take you out to lunch and let's chat some more.
I can't wait. Thank you so much. I felt so honoured, and it's just lovely to be able to share conversation with a like-minded woman.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been great, Jess. Thanks.
Let's do it again.
Please.
I hope you've found some inspiration from today's conversation to support your well-being. And as Jackie says, become the healer in your own home. Until next time, bye for now.